Welcome to Travelin' Young. I don't want to say this week's Travelin' Young because it's maybe this month's Travelin' Young.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've been doing a lot of videos about Maya of the ones we posted. We had your graduation bus
That's
when
true.
you got your hat.
That's true.
We had you talking about the university when you started. And this time, we're going to talk about what you did in our today.
Yes.
Which is what?
I was on Morgen Danmark.
Morgen Danmark. Speaking Danish
Yes.
on this Travelin' Young. Okay, I said speaking Danish. I didn't mean you're talking Danish now.
No. On Morgen Danmark, I'm speaking Danish.
You did speak Danish. So
Yes.
I'm going to set this up for a moment to say that, we were on Morgen Denmark 3.5 years ago.
Yes.
And we made friends with the producers, and they contacted us. They contacted me, and they contacted you about being on. I don't know if they realized how good you were at Danish when they initiated the discussion and how bad I was at Danish. And so I quickly was removed from the whole mix. And
I don't think that's why, though.
I mean, that was one reason probably.
Maybe.
And also I'm old. So, and it's not as relevant for the topic. Why don't you talk about
That's
the topic
true.
and what you ended up doing?
Yeah. So I was on to talk about, as a part of the new finanslov, sorry about the Danglish in this sentence. As a part of the new finanslov, there's a new melordning in Danish schools. So basically with this new finance law that the government has come up with, they are planning on having food in all, or at least a lot of Danish schools.
For kids.
For kids, yeah. Which it's, I think, only around 20% of Danish schools right now where the school provides food for the kids. Otherwise, the kids just bring their own food. So with this new thing, they want food provided by the school to the kids for free also is part of it.
And you were there because...
Yes, I was there to talk about what it's like getting food from school in America. Yeah.
And I watched it this morning, and I didn't understand any of the words. So talk to me about what you said.
Yes.
To make up for the fact that I didn't know in real time.
Yeah. Well, they just asked me what they said some background information they already had about me. They just asked what food was like in school in America. And I explained that we had... I always feel kind of bad sometimes with a subject like this because sometimes it feels like I'm like kind of trashing on America. But I just told the truth, and that's that, we had like pizza once a week. We had breakfast day once a week where we would have like pancakes and stuff. And I also said that this is something that was like very typical and honestly something that I don't think has changed a lot from even when you went to school. I think it was probably the same, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I think when I grew up, I feel like elementary school, it was, I think we were like really weren't old enough to make too many decisions, when you're like in second grade.
Yeah.
So they just had the same thing for everybody. As I got older, there were options, and there was the definitely not good for you option, and then the less not good for you but still not good for you option. I feel like.
Yeah.
And my parents would always give me money to buy lunch. I never brought lunch.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd always buy lunch when I was in school.
Yeah, I think it was only like 1 or 2 years in elementary school where mom packed my lunch. Otherwise, I just got lunch at the school. Also, because she knew I was such a picky eater, she was like, "I'm tired of this." But at least I remember at my school, like there were options, but it was like I remember the options were like a nut alternative, peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, that was here in the U.S.
That was in the U.S.
That I was actually thinking about that when we were just talking, which is that whole nut situation. Because if I packed my lunch growing up, it might have been like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, which you can't do today.
No, when I was like in
That's not a problem here, though, is it?
No, there's not really anyone who's like allergic to nuts here. And there's not really, at least that I've experienced in my schools and the schools I've like worked at and been to, there's not really many like major food allergies to the extent of like a peanut allergy where it's like you'll die.
Yeah, you need to bring
But
pins and stuff with you.
that's never an issue here. But in the U.S., if you weren't allowed to bring anything with peanuts in it.
Oh, stop calling. Velis.
You weren't allowed to bring anything with peanuts in it, and if your peanut allergy was like bad enough, you could also eat in the office if you wanted to. That if you were like nervous about if something accidentally had it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it was all like nut alternative stuff.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I remember it just, it wasn't mega healthy, but I mean, at the time, I also didn't care. In fact, I liked because we would maybe eat slightly healthier things at home. I liked not having to eat healthy stuff.
Yeah.
Which is obviously not great.
No.
But I really like this idea. Like, I think if everybody basically had mostly the same food and you're motivated to eat it and it's designed to make you, more alert and awake and just better when you're in school. I mean, that seems like a good thing, yeah?
Yeah, because sometimes I honestly think it's like crazy that they were like, here's 4 mozzarella sticks. Go sit in a chair for 6 hours. Like, that's kind of crazy. But
could you see the picture, by the way, when they showed the same picture twice when you were talking?
They did.
And it was like kids eating hamburgers or something. Did you see that?
I did not see that. I was not looking at the screen that was there. But I did see that after. Yes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. And so you got up, but rewinding back.
Yes.
You were on at 7:30 a.m.
Yes.
You had to be there at 6:45 a.m.
Yes.
And so you got up at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
And they contacted us at like 2 in the afternoon on Friday.
Yeah.
So this basically came to fruition relatively quickly when you think about like working days. It went from Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
And I thought I was on the phone. So I was on the phone with a colleague when they called me.
Yeah.
And I was like, can you hold on a minute? It was just a one-on-one discussion. And then I came back and said, I don't know, maybe on TV Monday. And then, of course, he said to me, were you on TV? I said, no, I wasn't on TV. No, I didn't.
Sorry.
But Maya was. And I showed the picture. I took like screen captures of it. And I showed him and other people. And I'm like, well, she's cooler than me anyway. I mean, it was cool when it was just you and dude on the couch. Because like they had those other people.
Yeah.
And 2 of the other people were like at home in other parts of Denmark and Italy or something.
Yeah, they had someone from Italy. I believe she was Danish, and then they had someone who lives in Sweden or is Swedish but lives in Denmark.
Yeah, so representing Swedish school and representing. What were they saying? Because they were speaking Danish.
Yes.
So.
The people were laughing a little bit like about the lady talking about the Italian school because the food was like super fancy, like super nice. Yeah, that's supposed to be
some of the nicest.
Yeah, I've heard that too. That like food there is like super nice, but yeah, it was just like very fancy. And then the Swedish school was like somewhat similar to some of the stuff that I've seen in Denmark with the schools that do have food. Yeah. Yeah,
so it's basically Italian, then like Sweden, Denmark close. And then America's like way below. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know where on the scale of. And so you're going to you're studying to be a teacher. So I mean, did that come up at all?
No, I didn't.
It's very relevant to you.
It is very relevant to me. I didn't mention that because like that is not really what I was there for. Like they didn't really know that ahead of time, and I didn't want to be like, oh, by the way, I'm also studying to be a teacher, so I have all this other like relevant knowledge. But like it is interesting talking about something like that is more like pedagogical. I don't know the word in English, but like something that does involve like child psychology, stuff like that. At some point they also asked me what I think about the idea of teachers eating with kids at lunch, because actually I don't think they did this at my Danish school, but at the school I work at, we as in the teachers, we eat with the kids.
We didn't. Maybe when I guess I gotta remember. It's hard to remember because I was such a little kid when I was like in elementary school.
Yeah.
I guess maybe some did just because they needed supervision.
Yeah.
But then in high school, they definitely didn't.
Yeah.
They definitely
were like,
didn't
get out of here.
Us. And it was also all staggered. Like in high school, I mean, I guess it was always staggered because, like, I went to an elementary school with, like 2 classes, 6 to like 12.
Yeah.
14 different classes at least. So they time it where like, they try to get age groups mostly together. So it's kind of staggered because you couldn't all wait in the same line at the same time. And then high school was super staggered because you had like, periods and different stuff there, during the day.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's normal for the teachers to eat with the kids in high school.
Yeah, I mean,
it's only like here. Wasn't. It's only like elementary school if they do it. But they were asking me about that, and I thought that was kind of interesting. I wasn't really prepared for the question, so I was a little nervous. But I did think it was an interesting question. And I tried to say that, like, sitting down and eating with people, it does. People always talk about with like child psychology stuff. They say like, getting down on like knee level, like to the kid's height, and good. Creating that like relationship.
Yeah, well, it makes sense. I mean, especially when they're super young.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
And creating that like kind of community is also what the other lady who was next to me was talking about.
Yeah, because later somebody also came onto the couch with you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Initially it was just you, and then somebody came on.
She had a lot more knowledge than I did.
She was. She had a lot of facts. She said lots of words.
Yes. She had a lot of facts.
Indistinguishable.
Well, she was also
words.
Like a professional, very smart person.
Well, you're smart.
Well, yeah, but I'm just there to talk about America. Yeah. I'm not like a scientist or some government person.
Yeah, well, it's super neat. I mean, I was super proud of you. You did a really good job, and you did everything in Danish. I mean, that's got to be like nerve-wracking. You're like, on live TV speaking Danish. I mean, well done.
Honestly, like in the moment, I didn't really think about it very much. I feel like I'm so used to doing stuff like this. I mean, I know I do this in English, but I'm so used to doing stuff like this that it's easier for me to just like tune out the fact that there's a camera in front of me. It's easy for me to just not think about it. But I did think about it earlier today where I was just like, 3 years ago, and even still now sometimes, I'm scared to speak Danish in a room of 30 people. And in the moment, I didn't even think about the fact that I'm speaking Danish in front of thousands of people. I just can't see them.
More than thousands.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just on the other side of the camera.
Yeah.
So you got to occupy the couch that we all were on once before at Tivoli, this time live.
Yeah, it was also a little bit, I remember also when I was sitting there today thinking that I was like there like all alone. I was like,
yeah, last time it was all of us. That time you were just you and the dude.
Yeah. Also, like when I was getting ready, like I was like, I feel like I should have like some parents with me or something. I'm just all here alone. I'm not an adult. What do you mean?
Well, it was an interesting topic. So first of all, very cool that you got to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
And you did a great job. Also, ironically relevant because you're studying to be a teacher.
True.
And a very interesting topic of like the quality of food that you give kids and if it should even be provided.
Yeah.
And I for free of charge. And I think, I have a belief. It's an investment. Like, it's a lot harder to spend money on investing something because you don't necessarily know the outcome. But it's an investment in kids to be healthier and to be more active and awake in school, which I think in the long run will just help them have a better education and be more productive. It's an investment that you'd make that may also reduce the cost of healthcare in the long run because they're setting, maybe if it's good quality food, they're starting to create good habits.
Yeah.
That would be positive. Now, the American system in healthcare is all built on making money on people being not healthy. So there you have it. So very interesting. Anything else you want to add from your experience on Morgen Danmark?
Well, maybe more on the topic. Just that, also one of the things that I said, they asked me my best advice to those who are going to be making this come to life.
Yeah.
I said that I feel like it's important that they find the right balance between what we do in America where the food is not super healthy, but it's fun and interesting food that I was always excited to eat lunch because I was like, oh, it's going to be something good.
Yeah.
But then I felt like when I came to Denmark, the food was super healthy, but kind of boring, so healthy that it became boring.
Yeah.
So finding that balance between making something healthy that kids can get nutrients out of and that's good for them, but also something that they're interested in.
It's not like a chore to eat.
And something that's fun.
Yeah, well, that is that's a dilemma.
It is.
And having to do that at scale. Because that's one of the big problems. It's certainly, I think, in most American schools, there's probably, not every school, but certainly where I grew up and where you were growing up, the schools have a lot of kids.
Yeah.
So having, in my high school, having to do this for basically over 1,000 kids a day.
Yeah.
How do you do that so it's healthy, interesting, at scale every single day? And there was another high school 10 minutes away that had 1,000 people, and another one 10 minutes away that had 1,000 plus people. So
Yeah, it'll be
it's
interesting
a big system,
because-
and that's one of the challenges in America, and certainly in the Copenhagen area. There's a lot more people.
Yeah.
And how do you actually make that work and keep it fresh?
And how
and
do
affordable.
I think it'll be so interesting as to like, will everyone get the same food? Because how do you do that? Because like, I mean, some people have, restrictions or
They must
being
have more than one
vegetarian
option or something, but
yeah, maybe.
yeah.
And I mean, also
maybe it's like an airplane. They're just like
yeah,
pasta, vegetarian, or
I think yeah, true. I think it also really will depend on like where you are exactly. Also, because I know like maybe some places in Jylland, like the lunch that they have at school, if they have lunch at school, is very just like meat and vegetables, But there's a lot of places in Copenhagen where the schools are doing more like vegetarian stuff, but will that work in some of those more rural places? I don't know.
Well, why don't you tell us what has been your experience in school with food?
If you were part of the 20 or 21% of schools that had food,
what
was it like?
What was it like? And if you're my age and old, and you're definitely not in that, what did you have for school growing up here in Denmark? And tell us where you live too, because it'd be interesting to know if you were in Jylland or if you're in Zealand or even Fyn or one of the islands. Bornholm, yeah. What is it like there? Let us know. Very interesting topic that TV2 brought us today. So thank you for going. It's amazing. And then talking about it a second time today. And I'm keeping you up. You should definitely get some rest.
Yes.
We're going to post this tomorrow in theory, which means it's only a day after she was on.
Yeah.
So if you have access to TV2, you can probably still go back and watch it.
Yeah.
And see her. It was about 7:30 in the morning-ish.
Yeah, I think it was 7:35.
5 after the news.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Maya, the celebrity, sitting next to a celebrity here. There you go. Thanks. We'll see you later.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.